know what today is. Today is the day that a king died. That was 6 years ago. Rest in peace to Ermias Oscar Dime, aka Nipsey Hussle, aka Neighborhood Nip, aka Nip. You know what? Just maybe, the date is perfect timing. Because it looks like Big U has run into more trouble. He got more problems. I mean, he got 99 problems, and the Fed just every single last one of those problems. Not to mention fellow gang members that he's supposed to be in leadership of possibly snitching. But I'm not going to get into those details. Let me talk about the way the universe works. And maybe it works just like this. They came for Big U. They took him. And they never going to let him go now that they got him. You can best believe that. But look at the timing. You see, God got a way of working things. And he sits people in the front row. Unfortunately, Nipsey's not here to be in the front row to see the fall of somebody who just may possibly be behind his murder. Now, I'm not going to get into the details about, what the streets had said then and say now, according to what had happened. I'm going to let you go do some investigation work. Furthermore, if you don't know who Nipsey Hussle is, I'm going to let you go and do that investigation work and figure that out. But most of the time, if you hear, you know who that is. I'm going to tell it like it is. What goes around comes around. Big U was out there doing everything that he did, and on top of extorting, on top of laundering through his own business, on top of weakening the community he's supposed to be strengthening, on top of being a terror, trying to make it like the rolling 60s was going to be some revolutionary thing to help our people, which indeed it was doing the opposite. I got nothing bad to say about, anybody's game, but the truth is, let's be honest. I don't know one gang that's in the positive business. And so let me just keep it real. And that means it makes it dangerous for everybody. So I would say that today, on the 31st of March, which was the day that Nipsey Hussle was shot and killed in front of the Marathon store, his store, and Big U happens to get locked up right around this time and the feds come for him, yeah, they came for his ass. They came for him. I would have to say that the timing couldn't be more perfect. It couldn't be more perfect. And then there's more charges that have come out. And on top of that, there's another murder. Apparently, he allegedly murdered his own son's friend, who's also a rapper, and dumped his body off. Now, didn't really know him. The world didn't know him, but he was loved by somebody. At the end of the day, when it come down to those gang politics, and I'm well familiar with gang politics, I can't say that I know every bit of it when it comes to LA gang politics, but I know enough to know that it's dangerous. I know enough to know what you should or should not wear in certain places you go to in LA. I know enough to know what could get your head knocked off, and I know enough to know that there's no loyalty in the gang, period. Not even for Nipsey, there was no loyalty in the gang. So those of you that don't know exactly how that thing went down, go do some research. But let me make it real quick. They tried to press Nipsey and say Nipsey was snitching because one of his boys took a fade against somebody else, beat that dude that was all from the same gang apparently, beat that dude. That dude came back, shot his boy, and so that guy was being taken to jail for that body. He caught a body, was being taken to jail, and Nipsey allegedly said, if I get if I get taken down, if I get slid on, somebody kill me, it's this guy, which is the guy that killed his friend. So apparently Big U got word of that, or may have had a recording, who knows, but got word of that and tried to press Nipsey and said, I'm going to release this, basically saying that you kind of a snitch. Whether this is all true or whether not, when Eric Holder approached Nipsey, he was approaching Nipsey saying, have you ever snitched on anybody? That's what Eric Holder allegedly was saying to Nipsey. But see, in the public, when this whole thing happened, they had it all flipped around. They were saying Nipsey was saying that to Eric Holder. It was the other way around. The truth is, it's just from history and following this, which I've been, Big U had been sliding Eric Holder up under Nipsey for quite a while. He was always around Nipsey's baby mama. He was basically coming to the cookouts. Of course, they, from the same area, that's how it goes. But to be a part of an early group, which was kind of part of an early rap group together, and later on, that guy who never saw the kind of fame that Nipsey saw come back and kill you, it's probably extremely devastating. Fast forward to now in 2025, where Big U finally gets wrapped up for all the havoc he was causing on everybody. Celebrities coming through LA, business people coming through LA, making people check in, just like his podcast checking in, making people check in. And eventually, on some real street cred, eventually, it's going to come back around to you. Eventually, you're going to take the fall. Because we understand that in the street life, in the gang life, there's only two ways out. I would say the third one is to snitch your way out, but eventually death can catch up to you if you do that on somebody. So there's two ways out. Jail or death. And from looking at Big U's history and how he was doing things, I don't know how anybody followed this guy. I mean, I don't know if a baby would follow him. And that's not to talk bad about nobody, but how did he have anybody follow? Usually, if you're a leader of something, you got something novel about you that you bring to the table, something that truly makes people want to listen. But quite possibly, really in the gang life, I guess it's respect. It's whatever dirt you done did that people have a track record on to say, you're that guy to follow. Because as far as I can see, there's no master plan. Big U had no real master plan. Was the master plan to start this organization to say you're helping the people, then launder money from it and take money from it and then borrow PPP loans and then get caught up for it? That's no master plan. So at this point in time, I'm curious on who was even following this dude for real, for real. Now, I've been hearing about Big U for years and all that. I've met people from, been around dudes from Rolling 60s, girls from Rolling 60s, all of that. I'm not from LA, of course, but yeah, been around them. And the truth is that I've grown to understand that there's no real leaders in the gangs. There's people who got some heavy credibility, but there's no real leaders, because even eventually people are going to snitch on the leader. Eventually somebody comes for the leader and they begin to take that position. So there's no loyalty, and unfortunately Nipsey had no loyalty, and he had no loyalty for him as far as I can see, and he's gone because of it. All that energy, everything he brought to the table, all of his greatness was put to rest behind, I believe, some jealous people, and I believe Big U was jealous of him and used whatever small situation to have a reason to do something and it be justified by the rest of the Rolling 60s and the people around him that it needed to be done. I think it's BS, personally. But the truth is, here we are, March 31st, as of today, 2025, and he's in the feds. And he probably ain't never going to see the light of day. And, he gets on camera and asks people for prayers. Ain't no prayers coming nobody way. His family might pray for him. I'm not going to pray for him, because the truth is that when you win that light, you live by the sword, die by the sword. You out there doing that thing, getting money however you believe you need to be getting money, hurting people, killing people, burying people, leaving a trail of bodies, what you think gonna happen? And then you're gonna play with the biggest gang's money, the government gang, and what you think gonna happen. That's what happened. So I think this is justice for Nip. Check out Big U talking about justice for Nip.
Wait, what you waiting on though? You don't know what you waiting on though, nigga. What you waiting on? You got to tell us what you waiting on. Yeah, my mama, bro, you would have
justice for them.
Or your boy would have been there like, yeah, you got it.
Everybody that was showing this shit.
You did.
Now, you see how he said justice for Nip and then laughed? If I was dead and gone and my lady, my wife saw this, she could only think that mother has something to do with it. Get his now. That's the only thing she could think. Watch it again.
Wait, what you waiting on though? You don't know what you waiting on though, nigga. What you waiting on? You got to tell us what you waiting on. Yeah, my mama, bro, you would have
justice for them.
Or your boy would have been there like, yeah, you got it.
Everybody that was showing this shit.
You did.
There's no way in the world that he was saying that out of love and kindness for Nipsey Hussle. No way. That was every bit of evil in the way he said that. And for those reasons and many other reasons, I don't give it that they came for him. They needed to come for him. He ain't building up the black people and was never building up the black people. And that's what I believe. That's just my opinion. And I believe that's a lot of people's opinion. Truth of the matter is that you live in that life, eventually that life gonna outlive you. And that's what's happening right now. Anyways, your boy Street Cred 4K. Keep checking in, keep tapping in. I'm gonna keep showing you the most and doing and proving the truth. That's what it is.